Hello, welcome to the channel, thanks for clicking. Now, I think I found one of the most cringy political videos on YouTube. And no, I'm not talking about the one where Lisa Nandy tries to explain what a woman is, or the clip of Jeremy Corbyn high-fiving Thornberry's boobies. This is the actual Scottish Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. As in, actual politicians spending 2 hours and 5 minutes trying to one-up each other on who is the most virtuous in the land. Honestly, this whole thing's embarrassing. I mean, remember the whole, before the whole ideology of wokeness crept into society, and Scots were known for laddish banter and had zero tolerance for PC tripe? Well, those days are long gone, my friends, and now we just have a bunch of privileged white gammons and lady gammons arguing over who gets to whip themselves the hardest. So this was supposed to be a quote-unquote debate over anti-racism, but as you'll see, there's no opposing side to this entire 2-hour video. It's about 25 middle-class wokeists all agreeing with each other, harder and harder. Just have a look at this clip to start off with, and then we'll go through it, right? Hang on.
If the Minister agrees that we cannot disassociate racism and discrimination from the ingrained economic inequality embedded within capitalism, and until we address those economic issues, then the issues of gender, race and class inequality will remain within our society.
Uh-oh, my communist BS meter is going off again.
And that can only be done with more representation in this place, more representation in our public boards, more representation in our workplaces, and more representation at every level of our communities. The people are there. We just need to make sure we can encourage them to do that, and then we can change some of those structural inequalities.
Right. Firstly, I don't understand how by just forcing quotas of diversity automatically ends up changing structural inequality. That's such a wishy-washy term. But my biggest beef, I suppose, is with the video is this, right? Watch this.
And let me share some examples. Every chief executive of every council and every government department, white. Every director of a department in Scotland, white. Every principal of a college or university in Scotland, white. Every head teacher in Scotland, white. Every chair of a public sector body in Scotland, white. Every High Court judge in Scotland, white. Every prison governor in Scotland, white. Every editor of a news organisation in Scotland, white. Why?
This is absolutely balmy, you lot. It's almost as if they don't comprehend that Scotland is 96% Caucasian. And I'm not surprised, given Scotland rains and snows almost every day. So why would people from the Caribbean or desert climates want to move there? It doesn't make sense. They don't seem to get it. Here's the stats, look.
The people are there. The people are there.
Scotland is a white country. It's predominantly a white country. Why is it so shocking that the Parliament is represented by white people? And why is it even a problem? Why are we saying that white people can't listen to views and worries of ethnic minorities and consider solutions and take action accordingly? Why do you need to force people of a certain skin colour into the Parliament itself just to say you have representation and now we can start helping the communities? I mean, isn't that just admitting you don't do anything for the communities in the first place? Isn't that you conceding that you aren't doing your jobs properly? According to population stats, across England and Wales, 86% of the population is white, based on the 2011 census. But in London, that number falls to 69.7%. The only reason the UK Parliament is more representative is because England and Wales have 14% more ethnic makeup than Scotland does, as opposed to its 4%. And in London, only 69% of the populations are white, which is why you find more ethnic MPs and politicians in London. I just don't buy that you need to have people of a different skin colour in your Parliament to effect change. Any politician worth their salt should be able to do this even if they're not from that community, right? I don't know if it's the same in Scotland, but in England, MPs hold surgeries where they listen to the concerns of their constituents, which in a lot of areas can be far more heavily leaning towards minorities. And they take those concerns and represent them in Parliament, because that's their job, to represent them in high office. If the Scots spent less time whining about lack of rainbow skins in their Parliament, and more time sitting down and listening to the communities, they would actually get some bloody work done and maybe change some things. It just seems like they're scapegoating their own failures, but hey-ho. Anyway, enough logical sense. Let's get back to the cringe. Feast your eyes on this.
Across the Atlantic from our TVs. But anyone watching in horror from 4,000 miles away and thinking that Scotland is not racist, anyone thinking that our institutions and structures, that our Scottish society is fair and equal, would be wrong. International solidarity is important, it's crucial, but if we're really honest, it's also pretty easy. In welcoming this debate this afternoon, Clare state, racism will not end with passing motions in Parliament. Without long-term commitments to anti-racist actions and policies, we'll not be able to reduce and ultimately eradicate racism. Lived experience will best help us hold public authorities, including the Scottish Government, including the Scottish Parliament, to account.
Firstly, are Scotland really basing their policies and plan for change on American events? Ridiculous. Secondly, only lived experience will best help us hold ourselves to account. Again, I say that's nonsense. You don't need to be a chef to appreciate what constitutes a good meal. Like, you know that putting shite in a soup is not going to help make the broth more tasty. In the same vein, you don't have to be Asian to know that underfunding an English language course is not really going to help people settle and integrate. It's just bollocks. Oh, and then she goes full SJW twat speaker and says,
that will involve difficult conversations, listening, acting, and in some cases, just being quiet and stepping aside to let the voices that we find so easy to ignore speak their truth.
Brr. So basically, abandon all critical thought and step aside to let 4% of the country tell you what to do. That's what she's saying. Honestly, is this really what Scottish people elected their representatives to do? These people do not seem to have any conviction or character, only to signal virtue and self-flagellate to sate the hunger of their own god of ego. I really worry for the state of this country. I mean, honestly, can you imagine if they finally got independence and the Scottish Parliament in control of their own destiny? They would last about a day on their own before they accidentally flood the Parliament and drown themselves in their own tears of soy. Just one final thought before I end this, because it's bugging me. Like, why is it that these people only denigrate white majority countries that need quote unquote diversity? Like, why aren't these people pushing for other countries to do the same for more diversity in non-white countries? Like, you know, you look at Israel and it seems to be allowed to exist as a practical ethno-state, and no one says anything about that. It's akin to when like the ultra-privileged feminists like Emma Watson banging on about women in the UK still being treated unfairly when they're pretty equal to men now. But they intentionally avoid the disgusting attitudes and conditions for women in places like India, where almost every day there's like an article in the newspapers of, you know, kids under 10, female, not only being gang raped but murdered afterwards. Like, they ignore all that shit. It doesn't fit the narrative, or it's too much attention. It's just ridiculous. Oh, and anyway, I'm wrapping this up now. I'll leave the link for the full 2-hour stream for you in case you have some free time or just miss Jeremy Kyle. But honestly, the whole video is a joke. Scottish Parliament is a joke. We're all screwed at the end. So what do you guys think? Are these people a joke? Or am I wrong? Tell me I'm not alone below. And let's go mad together. If you enjoyed the video, kindly take a moment to give it a like or a thumbs up. Hit the shiny red subscribe button for more. And also the little bell icon as well, I believe, to ensure you don't miss any future videos. Take care and don't be a Marxist. See you later.